You ever get a letter so strange you just have to laugh out loud right there in your own driveway? Like the universe hit random and landed on you. That's how this all started for me. A regular Tuesday morning, open the mailbox, expecting bills, coupons, maybe the usual HOA flyer. But instead, I pull out this official-looking letter with a sailboat logo in the corner, bold legal font up top. And right there under the headline, it says mandatory key sharing for lake access. Action required. I mean, what I had to reread it just to make sure I hadn't slipped into some alternate reality. And the kicker, this wasn't just some suggestion, this was a requirement for me to drop off a set of keys to my lake house so my neighbor Kelton could use it fish, even nap there when he felt like it. Yeah, that happened. So there I am, standing in the driveway laughing so hard the guy walking his lab down the street asks if I hit the lottery. Nope, I say, waving the letter in the air. Apparently, I've just been volunteered to run a lakeside Airbnb for free, minus the tips, minus the choice, and definitely minus the part where anyone asked if I was cool with it. Let me back up a sec. My name's Claire. I live full-time in a townhome in this big master plan community. About 5 years ago, after my dad passed away, left me a bit of cash and a lifetime of fishing stories. I bought a little cedar cabin on the lake, still inside the association, but managed by a separate group. That place is my escape tin-roof porch that smells like pine and bug spray. Nothing fancy, but when I need to breathe, that's where I go. Both places fall under the same master HOA, but there are sub-associations with their own rules. And trust me, I read those declarations. My dad drilled it into me. Always know what you're signing. Not a single word in there about giving your neighbor keys so he can go fishing or crash on your sofa. But this new Community Access Committee, which last I checked, didn't even exist a month ago, had apparently cooked up this pilot program. Voluntary at first, now suddenly mandatory. Yeah, that's the kind of upgrade nobody wants. So I call the HOA office. The lady who answers transfers me to Marissa, the president. She's got one of those voices that tries to sound like a smile, but you can feel the frown behind it. She tells me point blank, this is about fairness. There are too many underused lake houses, she says, and Kelton, who lives in the neighborhood full-time, should have a shot at using mine since I'm not there every day. I told her probably too politely that I have a deed and deeds don't come with mandatory sleepover rights for the neighbors. After that call went nowhere, I stuck the letter in my HOA binder, color-coded tabs, sticky notes, the whole 9 yards. Then I headed to the lake house with some groceries, just wanting to clear my head. Only when I got there, something was off. Tire tracks I didn't recognize, chairs moved, my niece's "Please don't feed the raccoons" sign tilted. And taped to the door with blue painter's tape, a new letter. This one said, in legalese, notice of non-resident eviction. Claimed I'd been reassigned, effective immediately. I tried my key. Didn't fit. They'd changed the lock. Now let me tell you, nothing will spike your blood pressure faster than realizing someone changed the locks on your own place. I took a step back, snapped photos, started a video for proof called the Sheriff's Non-Emergency Line. Because here's the thing, self-help lockouts like this, illegal in my state. No court order, no landlord-tenant relationship, no dice. Deputy Clark shows up, calm as you please. Reads the letter, tries my key, shakes his head. While he's making calls, Kelton himself rolls up in his rusty pickup red ball cap, grinning like he just won the lottery. Says the board assigned him my place so he can fish and rest. The audacity, right? The deputy asks him straight, "Did you change the locks?" Kelton shrugs. Bored. Did maybe the manager. He just wanted to check if the fridge was cold for his bait. At this point, I'm calling my friend a paralegal who gives me the number of a lawyer, Avi. I'm summarizing all this mess to Avi, who tells me not to force the door, just hang tight. He'll meet me there and call the judge. Deputy Clark, meanwhile, gets the prosecutor on the line, who says as there's no court order, he can encourage re-entry, but would rather have it in writing. Smart man. Avi arrives, law books and toe flips, right to the declarations. Association can enter for emergency repairs, think fire flooding, not to help Kelton catch bluegill. He calls the judge's clerk, explains everything, and next thing I know, we're on a call with the judge herself. She asks a few pointed questions, sighs, and issues a temporary order for me to regain possession. Locksmith and all HOA gets the bill. Locksmith comes, pops the brand new lock in less than a minute, and I step inside. First thing I smell is earth and something sweet. There's bait in my fridge, a sleeping bag, rolled out tackle box, where my niece's crayons should be, and just for flavor, a bag of pickles on the counter. Nothing broken, but it feels like someone tried on my life for size. We change the locks again this time, good ones. Install motion cameras. Avi tapes the judge's order inside the door. Then he sits at my kitchen table, types up a letter that basically says, "Interfere with my property again, we'll see you in court, and by the way, we're coming for your board seats, too." I send it off, thinking maybe this will be the end. Not so fast. The next morning I get a text from an unknown number, Kelton again. "Have you cooled off yet?" "Still need those keys." "K," I reply, keeping it legal. "Do not contact me again or I'll add it to the lawsuit." He thumbs up emojis me like this is some big joke. HOA tries to walk it back. Sends a lawyerly email about amenity-adjacent structures, says, "I'm obligated to consider good faith proposals for temporary use of my home." Avi laughs, sends back a crisp no, and lets them know we'll be calling a special meeting to recall the board. Then the smear campaign starts. Packet arrives, supposedly complaints from neighbors that I'm selfish hoarding lake access, not being neighborly. 4 signatures, one's Kelton, another from someone who doesn't even live here, one is just a scribble. A few hours later, Kelton shows up at my door, tries again to convince me. I remind him calmly the judge's order trumps his fishing schedule. Avi comes up with a plan: malicious compliance. There's a clause: if you own a freestanding home, you don't owe keys to anyone except for fire or plumbing emergencies, and only if you share walls, which I don't. So I make a laminated card, attach it to a key ring with no keys, and drop it in the HOA office safe. INZ, the admin, gets the joke. Vaughn, the manager, does not. Says I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I tell him to drink coffee, not nap in my bed. Leading up to the special meeting, my phone pings at 3 a.m. Motion camera shows a shadow on the porch. Someone standing there looking out at the lake leaves a coffee cup with a fish logo on the steps. Guess who? The meeting is packed. People who've lived here forever. Some who just showed up for the drama, Kelton and his crew up front. I tell my story, facts in hand, hold up the judge's order, the key ring with no keys, the laminated clause. The room leans in. When I finish, old Mr. Mather's voice, like gravel, says what everyone's thinking. We fish because we live near a lake. We don't sleep in other people's houses. Murmurs of agreement roll through the crowd. But here's the real twist, Petra. A retired neighbor had quietly tracked Vaughn. Our manager loading up HOA purchase water and selling it at soccer games, pocketing the cash. She brought receipts, license plates, everything. When we put all those little things together, it painted a picture of a board that played fast and loose with everyone's rights and dollars. The recall wasn't even close. Marissa, scarf and all, gave one last speech about fairness and left. Vaughn was suspended pending an audit. New interim board members took over, rules were clarified. No more creative definitions of amenity, real emergencies only. Kelton. He lost his dock privileges for the summer, had to clean up trash as penance. The board issued a formal apology, reimbursed my costs, and the management company quietly disappeared. Turns out a few other drips added up to more than just a leaky system. So here's what I learned when someone tells you, your right to your own home is just a technicality. Dig in. Know your paperwork, keep your receipts, and maybe bring donuts to the next meeting. A lock only works if the key fits your hand, not your neighbor's. And if you ever find yourself on the wrong end of a made-up rule, remember, justice takes paperwork, a stubborn streak, and sometimes a laminated card with no keys. Now, what do you think? Was I right to dig in, or should community fairness ever mean sharing your bed with a stranger? Let me know your take, and hey, if you've got a story crazier than mine, I want to hear it. See you next time, friends.